Welcome to Breaking the Chain. I'm Jacob.
And I'm Cody.
And we got big news this week. Cody had an amazing performance over at the Pro Tour, so he's going to go a lot through that later today. But I know he had a couple notes that he wanted to bring up about the last episode, maybe a couple spoilers. So I'll leave that to him.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that it was really, really cool. It was that you were able to put on an episode with Luke last week. We had talked about potentially having an episode with Luke or with another co-caster before I had left for London, since I wouldn't be able to record. And I know it was like kind of up in the air. Like I showed you some of the stuff on like how to edit the podcast and everything if needed, but I wasn't like holding out hope for it. I was like, oh, it's gonna be kind of tough to not only get Luke on and like have him agree to join us, but then like go through all the motions of like editing and like uploading it and everything, because it's not easy to start out with. But I didn't even know it was happening. I literally just logged on to Blue Sky and I saw your tweet or whatever it's called on there about it, and I was like, oh wait, we have a podcast that came out just now. This is sick. And so I've watched through it since, and it turned out amazing. Like you did a phenomenal job. Like I kind of want you to go to describe your process editing it and stuff, and filling my shoes there on that role. Was it how easy was it for you? Did my scrambled notes of showing you how I did it on my end help at all, or was it a little bit of trial and error?
It helped a lot, but there was definitely a lot of like the trial and error period where I had like, okay, got the video recorded. That's sick. Got it imported in the program. That's sick. Okay, now let me start doing cuts and putting in stuff. And like, that's the majority of what I forgot. But I'm like, okay, this is whatever. Like, I figured it out, but it didn't take that long. What actually got me really hard was I was designing like the thumbnail. And that's what got me, because like,
it's tough.
I got it on, well, like, yeah, and I'm like, I took yours, like that one's all you designed, and I'm like, okay, trying to reference that. But once I got it designed, it was getting it out of that program and anywhere else on my computer, because I don't know what it was or if my Windows wasn't updated, but it would not download into any other program or onto my computer as a photo. And then when I tried, yeah.
Interesting. Oh,
yeah, it was really.
Was it Canva that you used?
Yeah.
Yeah, it for some reason like defaults to like a GIF or something for the thumbnail. Yeah. I don't know why, but it does. You have to change the file format there. But I mean, it looks like you figured it out.
Yeah, I got there in the end, but it was a lot of like trial and error of like what's going on, and then I finally got it out. I'm like, I can finally upload this. I start uploading the video. I go to upload the thumbnail, and it's like, file size too large. I'm like.
That's funny.
Like I finally got it all figured out, and then the file size is too large. So like I literally just went into one of the photo apps, cut down the image, so it was good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it turned out phenomenal. I thought it was like the thumbnail was great, the audio was really, really good, which it's not easy to get good. So like big kudos for that. And it's funny, you like accidentally uploaded the video to Spotify instead of like the audio file, but I didn't realize you could just do that in the first place, and that's just the better way to do it. Like, why not just upload the video to Spotify? So now we just get to do that from now on, because you discovered that we could do it. So you innovated the podcast as well in the process, which I thought was really cool.
Well, that was like when I was trying to get that was another thing, when I was trying to resolve all the videos and everything down to like the video file and the audio file, it like ended up being a scenario where like I don't think I downloaded the audio file right, and that's where like the problem was, where like it gave me 2 video files. I'm like, okay, whatever. Let's see if it just gives me the audio part if I'm just like figuring something out wrong or reading something wrong. Then it would put in the whole video. I'm like, okay, hopefully,
well,
it's gonna have to be good enough for me.
Yeah. What was I gonna ask? Though, did you record the podcast, like the screen recording, or did Luke record it? Because it kind of looked like it was that he recorded it, and then like the whole thing was like flipped. It caught me off guard at first because it looked reversed for the video. Like your curtain for me, it's on the right side of the screen, but for his one, it's on the left side of the screen. I
Oh,
was like,
okay.
wait, what happened?
No, I recorded it all.
Oh yeah.
It was. I don't have a second monitor, so whenever I had to like get information, I'd like pull up my phone and like hold it out here, so it like doesn't look as bad.
I mean,
I'm
it
sure there's
looked great.
definitely parts where I'm like looking down like this, referring to information.
I mostly listened to it and didn't like keep an eye on it, but so I didn't notice if you did. Um, but yeah, it turned out great. I thought it was sick.
That's good.
I did find it funny. It was our longest episode yet at like 2 hours. But
Yeah, we
there
were
was a lot
just
to talk about.
talking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
I
funny.
remember one part where he was like, not to go on a tangent of a tangent of a tangent, but it started going on it. It just got a laugh out of me.
Oh yeah, it was. I remember when I uploaded it, I didn't realize that the DaVinci Resolve starts at like 1.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I put it in, it said 2:59. I'm like, that was not 3 hours. What? I'm like,
Yeah.
there's no way I can upload this. And like I go through, and as I'm like cutting pieces out, I'm like, oh, it starts at 1. Okay, that's
Mm. Yeah, I
okay.
don't know
It's
why it
only
does
2 hours,
that,
which is like not that bad.
but it does. But yeah, hey, now you have that experience under your belt. You're gonna edit all the podcasts from now on, right?
I, if need be, we have a second resource now.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was really really cool. To get that pleasant surprise while I was in London. Um, so that was really cool. We got to keep our streak going of our podcast every week, and now we have like
Now
that.
we're going to 11.
Yeah. Now we're on episode 11, which is sick. We're almost at 3 months straight of podcasts, which is really cool.
It's crazy to think about.
Mm. Um, but yeah, with that being said, I'll jump into my Pro Tour London recap. So if you don't know, I participated in the Pro Tour London this past weekend, and I did pretty well actually. But I'll get to that in a second. First, I had some good omens with the plane ride to London, which is was an overnight plane ride. Had the entire road to myself, which was pretty nice. I can't complain there. Got to actually sleep on a plane a little bit, which is very surprising for me. I usually can't sleep at all. Like I just cannot sleep sitting up straight in a plane chair like that. But I was able to like put my feet all across the chairs and like lean up against the wall of the plane or whatever on the window and
Oh
actually
yeah,
fall asleep that way, which was great. It was phenomenal. It was perfect. I got like 5 hours of sleep, which is exactly what you want because then you're tired by the end of the day, like whenever you want to like fix your sleep schedule. So I was like already in London time by the following day, which is really nice.
What day did you get in?
Was that?
What day did you end up getting in?
Oh yeah, so I flew out for Denver time. It was like 8 p.m. or 8 or 9 p.m. on Tuesday night, and then I got in around noon on Wednesday, and then basically was able to stay up the rest of that time and go to sleep at like a reasonable time somewhat reasonable. Whenever you're in a testing house, which I was going to do next, I was in like a testing. I was part of a testing team, and we all stayed in Airbnb together, and it was 8 of us in an Airbnb. And whenever you have an Airbnb of 8 people, you don't really sleep all that well and on time. It's just kind of like you end up staying up way too late. So definitely didn't get as much sleep as I needed to, but it was fine. It was all on good, testing and good fun. But yeah, I stayed with I have a testing group that I'm a part of where most of us prepared Enigma, and I'll get into that in a little bit. And we had one Vincent and one Syndra player. And so most of us were on Enigma, and I got to test that and like really work together on the sideboarding stuff and everything. And it was really nice Airbnb. It was like it was a quick train ride to the location, everything. So anyway, long story short, like the pre-tournament stuff was great. Like Airbnb was good, playing around was good. We got to do a little bit of touristy stuff with like Big Ben and the Eye, and I forget the area right past Big Ben that has like some fancy buildings and gardens and stuff. But we had to do a little bit of touristy stuff before the tournament, and then for the tournament itself, I brought Enigma, and I can say this now because I don't know. I think you actually saw this, and you might have mentioned in the podcast last week, but they started releasing all the deck lists for all the events, like basically as the events are happening. So you can go back and you can see my exact deck list that I brought. You can see all 523 Pro Tour players deck lists in the tournament. I think that's all 523. It was like
pretty sure.
99% of everybody's deck lists. You can go in and look at them because of the new gem builder submission that they have. And you can do the same thing for the calling. You can see every single person's list for the calling, every single person's list for the battle hardened as well. Which we could talk about that maybe after if we have time, because that has some pretty big implications for the game moving forward. But basically, that's why I feel comfortable talking about like the tech that I brought, like the deck that I brought, which was dual weapon switchboard Enigma with regular what's it called, Cosmo and Refractor. And the idea was that we would just play Refractor into Aurora for a slight edge going second. We felt favored into Aurora when we were going second into them. And it proved true throughout the tournament. Like we kind of just kept doing pretty well into Auroras. We were winning more than half of the time against Auroras, which was really good. So it was really cool to see our tech pop off. And for day one, so I'll jump into day one. I had a really easy start to day one. My first round was Michael Fung. It's just so funny if you've ever been to a tournament and then you're like, okay, it's fine. First round, we'll just get it over with. You look at your phone and you're like, oh. So I see Michael Fung. I'm like, oh, okay, sure. I guess I'll start off with a loss. It's fine. And I go and play him, and I high roll pretty hard into him, and I get there. I win my first round against Michael Fung, which is really cool. It was a great start to the tournament to get that win in the books. And then I played against two news, which are pretty good for me, so I won both of those. And then I played against Aurora, and I did the game plan. I went first, but I still got there anyway, even though we consider it unfavored going first. I still got there anyway, going first, doing what we call the bonking game plan of just swing an aura, play a spectral manifestations and swing it for 8 and do your 2-card 9 play, and just constantly like 2-card 9 them with phantasmaclasms and your spec manis, and like you can turn your traverse and tunic counter into like a swing for 6, or you can turn your calming gesture into a 1-card 6 by pitching a blue, or 1-card 6 pitching a blue, swinging for 5, and then it blocks for 1, right? So just all these like little like value plays, and I got to do that and win my first Aurora game, which was really nice. And then I played against Kevin Murphy on Prism. He was one of the Prisms that top 8'd and took that one down as well. So I ended day one 5-0 on CC, which is pretty cool. And then, as you know, the format, it's a split format tournament. So I played draft next, the first draft pod, and I drafted Arachne. I was always leaning Arachne in my drafts. I just like feel more comfortable drafting Arachne. And I got past Pack 1 pick 3. I think it stayed kind of open. And then Pack 1 pick 3, I got a Mark of the Black Widow. I was like, we're Arachne. That's it. I'm not brain off. I'm Arachne. And sure enough, like even though like it was correct to go Arachne, the person directly to my right that passed me cards ended up going Arachne as well. And he's actually I think it's Andrew Cook is his name. He was one of the undefeateds. So he ended up 3-0ing that pod and being one of the undefeateds in day one, along with Charles Dunn. But I ended up going 2-1, which is really good still.
Still pretty good.
Yeah, I was like, I'm fine. Like if I 1-2, I'm still in a good spot. So I was like happy if I 1-2, and I 2-1, which is a phenomenal spot, right? Like I've X1 going into day 2. I was 6th place at the time at the end of day 1. Really, really good spot to be at a pro tour, and it was really exciting. And then, and for that draft roll, I won, or draft pod, I won 0 die rolls. And if you aren't familiar with the hunted draft format, the die roll matters a lot. It matters a little bit less if you're Arachne, but it still matters because when you play into Syndra, you really want to make them go first and not second. And so when I played against Aaron Shantz, I had to go first into them, and then I ended up getting fatigued, which was not particularly great. I definitely would have gotten that game if I went second, but it's fine. I still went 2-1. I was very happy. And the next day starts with another draft pod. I was in the streamed pod, So you don't see me at all. I looked. You don't see me at all in any of the footage for the stream pod because it was over Charles Dunn's shoulder. But I was in that pod and I made a huge mistake in my drafting. Basically, I opened up my first pack and I see like 3 or 4 really good Syndra cards. It was like Display Loyalty. It was like a Hunt the Hunter, which is a really good 1 for 5 that Fang and Syndra both really want. And I saw some good Ninja commons as well. And so I got a little spooked and I was like, okay, I'm going to let the rest of the people in this pod draft Syndra. Maybe there's going to be too many Syndras because I passed this pack. And I'm going to avoid Draconic in general and just go like start drafting like Fang / Arachne, right? Like leaning Arachne, but like potentially go into Fang if I really need to. And I end up being the middle Arachne. Like there's Arachne directly to my right again, and then like it's like not directly to my left, but the person that person's left was Arachne. So I was not getting very good cards the entire pod.
No.
Yeah, my deck was pretty bad. It wasn't the worst. It wasn't like an 0-3 deck, but it was like clearly a 1-2 deck, and like with the potential to like maybe 2-1. And so if I just gone Syndra, I would have been a much better spot. And so I play my games. I lose my first round, which is expected. And then I play round 2 against Charles Dunn. And Charles Dunn was one of 2 Fangs, right? So the pod was 2 Fangs, 3 Syndras, 3 Arachnes. And he was one of the two Fangs. And he played against Andrew Cook, who was on, I believe, Arachne. Yeah, he was one of the 3 Arachnes. And so I was kind of surprised. I was like, oh, you lost. Your deck is really good. I'm definitely going to lose this game, right? I was like already like the moment I saw Charles Dunn, I was playing with Charles Dunn, I was like, oh, I am not in a good spot here. And of course, it was a die roll. So then he gets to choose to go second. But I'm pulling up my notes because something funny happened. So let's see here. All right, so I lose the die roll and I have to go first. I do get to push 3 damage on turn 0 with Razor's Edge. My deck had 2 Razor's Edges, which is the 0 for 3 react on a stealth card. So I got to like get effective value for going first, which is really good. That's like how you break the die roll advantage is by getting push damage with the reacts. So that was nice. But unfortunately, his deck's really strong. So I am at a point where I'm at like 2 or 3 health. I think I'm at 2 health to his 13 health. And on his, yeah, it's not good. On the previous turn, I did get to mark him with a Lair of the Spider. So he's marked, and now it's my turn. I have like 3 cards, right? I think I might have had an Arsenal too, or maybe I didn't. Either way. So I start with Defang the Dragon. Now, Defang the Dragon is one of the contract cards that says you are contracted to hit a marked hero named Fang or something along those lines. I'm probably butchering the phrasing of it, but basically every time you hit Fang when he's marked, you will draw a card. And it's not just when that card hits when they're marked, it's the entire chain link that the entire chain that whenever you hit him and he's marked, you draw a card. So I start with Defang the Dragon, and I'm Arachne Marionette. So this is coming in for 4. He says no blocks. So I just say no reactions, and it hits. He's no longer marked. I draw a card, and then I swing my dagger. And he says for 1, and he's not marked. He says no blocks. I discard Reaper's Call, which marks him. So now the dagger's coming in for 2, and he's marked. And he doesn't have a reaction. So then it hits. I draw a card. It unmarks him, but I break the dagger, so it remarks him. And then I pitch and swing the second dagger. So now he's marked, so it's coming in for 2. He blocks it for 2, and I don't have a reaction. And then I swing Red Bite. Bite is a stealth card that says when this attacks, you may throw a dagger you control and it deals 1 damage or something like that. I can't remember the phrasing, but basically you throw a dagger whenever you play it. And so I do that. So I throw my second dagger, which hits him while he's marked. So I draw a card, and then I break the dagger to remark him. So now this bite is coming in for 4 because he's marked. on hit go again. So
Crazy.
then he blocks 3, so it hits for 1, and so I draw a card and has go again. And then I throw. Now he's at 6. I play backstab, which is the one that says you can't play defense reactions, and he says no blocks, and I play Razor's Edge and I win. So I go from 2 to his. I think I might have messed up the numbers here, but it was like 13 or 14 or something like that, and I kill him, and he's so upset, which I don't blame him for. Like he wasn't like rude to me or anything, but I could just tell that he was not happy about that outcome because like he got absolutely scammed out of a game, and I pick up a win and go 1-2 in that pod because of that, which was pretty crazy.
I love like watching those kind of play lines with that card, like Defang the Dragon, because like I think it was when it released in Prague or something, or the pre-release or whatever. In Prague, I saw someone do a similar line, not to like that level, but I saw someone do a similar line. I'm like, that's super cool. But
yeah, that was the first time I've done a turn like that in limited with any of the contract cards for like drawing a card. Defang the Dragon, and there's one for Sintra, I forget what it's called, but basically, yeah, getting those like huge turns where like I drew one, I drew off Defang, I drew off the first dagger, I drew off Bite, so I drew 3 cards that turn off of that, which was absolutely insane, disgusting.
Better than Art of War.
Yeah, literally. But yeah, so I had that really cool draft game, and then of course I lose my 3rd round, so I go 1-2. But I'm still live for top 8. I am at that point. I am 8-3, right? I'm 8-3. So, if there were, I think 450 players, all of the X3s make it, which is what we thought there was at first. But turns out there end up being 523 players at the Pro Tour. But regardless, my losses should be late enough that I am in contention for top 8 at that point. So I'm feeling really good. And then I play on stream. I am round 9, 10, 11. I'm round 12. I'm one of the round 12 games on stream, and I'm playing against Majin Bay on Verdansk. And Enigma versus Verdansk is typically known as Enigma favored. You get to set up your auras, which can stop like a lot of their surge hits. You typically can run AB3 pretty easily, and you just get there with Enigma shenanigans, right? So I'm feeling pretty good. He's like, uh-oh, they just wanted me to have me on stream while they can, like as we're walking up to the stream. And I play a pretty clean game up until one point in the stream, which is basically I play Levels of Enlightenment, pitching a blue. In response, I transcend and I play Mirror Guy from Arsenal, pitching the chi, so that my levels has 2 modes, right? He takes it, and then I swing Mirror Guy for 8, and he breaks the Storm Striders. He's at like 5, I think, at this point or something. He's really low. He breaks the Storm Striders, and then sends a spell for 3 damage. And I have AB3, and I have a card in hand, 1 floating, and a tunic counter. He doesn't know this, but the card in my hand is a red card. So I have to activate tunic counter and pitch the red card to stop all of the AB. But if I have a blue card, all I have to do is just pitch to AB3, and then my Mirror Guy is still attacking. There's no problem, right? Now, unfortunately for me, I do have the red card. So I am thinking. I'm like, why is he doing this? Why would he be sending 3 AB at me? I have AB, or 3 Arcane at me. I have AB3. I have a card in hand. No matter what card it is, I get to pitch to stop this. And so I'm just like racking my brain. I'm like, why does this matter? And also at the time, I thought Verdansk pinged on your own turn, on both turns. I did not realize it was only his turn that Verdansk pings when she heals, and he was online at the time. So I was under the impression like, okay, he just pings me here, right? I didn't draw the blue, so I can't AB through a ping as well. So I just had to let this go. So I do. I let the Mirror Guy go, and then I basically just continued the game, and I do end up getting there, but it was way closer than it should have been because I should have just AB'd because he couldn't actually ping me any further. However, I talked to him after the fact, and I was like, it was the next day, and I was like, I can't believe I made the mistake against you on stream, like this, that, and the other. And he's like, actually, you did make a mistake, but it's not as bad as you thought it was. And he tells me that had I activated Tunic in order to AB3, he could, in response to the Tunic counter being pulled off, crack his plume to grab, I think it's arcane something or what, rampant growth life to heal one.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't ping, but it would amp one to make the spell come in for 4. So basically, what I'd be doing is I would be like AB2. I would AB. I guess I wouldn't have to AB at all. I would basically just be wasting my Tunic counter because I can only AB3, and then I would lose my mirror guy. So it was still correct to do because it's better to trade to make him use his plume, but I was right to like have my spider senses tingle and be like, why is he doing this? This doesn't make any sense. Like, there's got to be a reason that he wants me to. He's just throwing this naked 3, like, right? So I picked up on that, but I just didn't pick up why, and I still should have like AB'd anyway because it's still a good trade for me. But anyway, it wasn't nearly the blunder that I thought it was at the time.
Yeah, I remember watching that game. It was like actually the first game I got to watch over the weekend. Like I was getting ready for work. And then I go to like set it, or like, okay, I can watch something before I leave. And it's like, luckily your game. I'm like, this is sick. This is awesome. I'm like sitting down and watching and like, oh, this is a pretty cool game. It's pretty clean. And then we get to that play. And I remember like watching and hearing the announcers like, I think he thinks that Verdant's trigger's on this turn.
That's what it was. That's exactly what it was. I was almost 2 for 2 on losing to Majin on stream because I didn't understand how the hero worked. So I've done it before. I played against him.
Yeah.
Icelander. He was Icelander. I was Dromai, and he blizzards me. I'm swinging for lethal, and he blizzards me. And I think that he can waning mood, but Blizzard's an instant. It's not a non-attack action, so he can waning mood me. So I almost again lost him on stream because I didn't know how his hero worked. Which is anyway.
Yeah. It did remind me of that moment because I remember like standing there watching that live. I'm like, oh no, Cody, no.
Yeah.
But and then it was funny at I think it was the very end. You like look at the Verdants a second time and like you make like a face. And they're like, he realizes now.
Yep. Actually, I didn't listen to the commentary when I watched it over, but that's funny that they mentioned that. Because, it was when he had to, like, play, like, the one that heals 5 in response to me, like, throwing lethal. And then I was like, okay, so I take 1, right? And he's like, no, you don't. And I was like, oh. And that's when I really had the realization. But yeah, so it was fun. I wish I'd known what I was doing on stream. It was funny though because I was like with the testing group after. I was like, I was watching the game with them, and I was like, what would you have done here? And they're like, oh no, we would have like done all the same plays as you. Like these are all correct plays up until the mirror guy play, and then obviously after that, it was like whatever. But before that, I was like, oh wow, I actually played correctly up until that point. So that was pretty cool. But yeah,
I mean, you got there in the end, and that's all that matters.
Exactly, right? Who cares if I embarrass myself?
Like you said, it wasn't that wrong of a play, and like it happens all the time. So
yeah, it's fine. But yeah, I do end up winning the game anyway. So I'm still alive I'm now 9-3, still alive for top 8, which is really really cool. My whole team's like checking up on me the whole time. Like, are you good? Did you win? Like, and I'm like, yep, I'm still alive. We're good. And then I get into the next round and it's against a new. I'm like, yes, I'm playing against a new. It's an easy one. I already beat 2 news this tournament. We're doing solid. I'm going to keep going. I just have 2 more rounds after this one and I'll get there. Right. Like it'll be tough rounds, but I'm still going to be alive. So I play this new game and they throw the most disgusting CNCs. Back to back. I have a hand that can't block CNC and a mirror guy in Arsenal. And I know one of the lose cons for this matchup is to get fatigued, right? And I can't let that happen. So I can't let them just like keep hitting, like get rid of all my mirror guys. I need to guarantee to have one in the deck. Like I can't just let the CNC go through and hit it. So I end up blocking with Traverse and then playing the Mirror Guy in response to the trigger, the CNC trigger, so that I can like play out this Mirror Guy turn. But I have to give up Traverse for it. It's still a strong Mirror Guy turn because I get to go Mirror Guy into Weakest Link. And if they have any Chi in their hand, it's a lot of pressure to stop the Weakest Link hit. So I still get to do that, which is a really strong play. They did have a Chi in hand, so they have to block it out. But they still are able to threaten the Mirror Guy the next turn, and I can't protect it. And then later on, actually, sorry, I think it was that turn that they do like an attack, like I think they do what's it called? Looking for a Scrap. They play Looking for a Scrap. I block with 2 cards, 2/3 blocks for my hand. And then they play CNC. I have a card in Arsenal. They play a CNC. And I look at my hand, and it's a Chi and a Shelter from the Storm. I have a Mirror Guy on board. I have a Miraging Metamorph in my Arsenal. And my hand is a Chi and a Shelter from the Storm. So I'm like, I don't know this is miserable. If I let it hit, I lose my Mirror Guy, and I lose my Miraging Metamorph, and my hand does nothing. I just Arsenal Shelter pass. And so what I end up doing is I have a Tunic counter. I crack the Tunic counter, crack my Calming Gesture with a Tunic counter, and activate Shelter from the Storm so that I can prevent all of it with Mirror Guy, Shelter, and the Spectral Shield, and then keep my Miraging Metamorph that I get to swing next turn for 7. I don't think that was the right play at all. I think that was a big mistake. I think I was probably just supposed to take the 6 Arsenal, the Sink below, or the Shelter, because now I don't have that on demand prevent one, and I don't have an Arsenal. Like I'm just sending this Miraging for 7, which is not like doing any good for me. And then I end up like basically just losing the game from there. Like I get fatigued. He ends up hitting a Bonds. Was it Bonds? Yeah, he ends up. That's right. This is also the same game where he throws Bonds of Agony, and he pumps it up to like way more damage than I can stop. But I have a Sink Below in hand, and I Sink Below, and I sink a card. Like, okay, if I draw into the D-React, I'll get to stop it. I Sink Below, I sink a card, and I draw into Mirror Guy.
Oh no!
I don't have my Calming Gesture anymore, so I can't
pitch it away.
I can't pitch it away, and so he hits it. And he banishes that Mirror Guy and another Mirror Guy out of my deck. So now the game is just truly over. And so I end up losing that game, due to like basically a multitude of errors, but also some really really strong CNC plays on some awkward hands. So I'm out of top 8 contention, losing to Anu, which is really sad. Definitely still happy that I'm in the tournament and everything. Like I'm still playing for like cash and everything, but it was definitely sad to like lose a good matchup because I made a couple bad mistakes in the face of really tough situations that I wasn't prepared for. But anyway, I'm still doing good. I'm still happy that I've gotten to this point, and we go to the next round. And the next round is against Aurora. And I'm like, okay, cool. I get to do the bonking tech again. Get to break out the refractor and start swinging my 9s over and over and over again. And it's against Jacob Bao, Bao. I might be pronouncing the last name wrong. Who's a really good player, and he is completely unfazed by the fact that I have refractor. The first day when I played Aurora, they had to like turn my refractor around and like look at it for a second and go, okay, I guess you're running that, whatever. But this guy just like didn't even look at it. He's used to refractor. I guess he's played refractor Enigma in the past, and so he's not worried about it at all. And he's running Face Purgatory, which we've deemed is really good for us when they run it, because now all of our CNCs are pressuring them, and it does let me do that. I get to throw CNCs and it pressures them pretty hard. However, I make a blunder by not blocking with a D-React on an attack at one point in his turn, and like saving it for a Sink Below. Saving it for a Snatch. And he doesn't end up throwing Snatch. He like ends his turn on a Starfall, and it's clear he's going to Arsenal a card. So I just block with a 3-block. He Arsenals a card, and so I throw CNC with a Shelter still in hand, and he gets to Face Purgatory it out. When I could have blocked it earlier, and I could have had 4 extra health basically. So I play into the Purgatory. And it ends up mattering that like I only need like 1 or 2 more health, and I would have won the game at the end. And so if I just blocked with that Shelter on a previous attack and not held it for Snatch, I would, and not played into the Purgatory as hard, then I would have definitely taken that game down because it was really, really close. So I ended up losing that one as well. And now I am 9-5. Yeah, 9-5. So feeling pretty rough. I know I'm still in like contention for the money, but I'm
Mhm.
like just losing these games back to back, right? And then I play against Matt Rogers on Florian, which is a really good matchup for Enigma, right? Like we're pretty favored in the matchup. And he's already like a little dejected from like sitting down across an Enigma, but it's fine, it's whatever. And I proceed to high roll the absolute shit out of him.
Oh no.
My turn 2, I have 5 spectral shields with +1 counters on him, some of them with +2 counters on him, because I do like a disgusting like transcend on his turn 0 going first into like sacred art with a restless coalescence out. It's disgusting. It's the most disgusting board. It's turn 2, so he's not even close to decomposing and getting to the point where he can like threaten my board at all. Like the game is just over by turn 2. And it's just like he ends up just like he ends up just like being like shut off from the game, just like wanting to be over, like having me fast play to get over it. And because I'm playing so fast, like feeling that pressure, I end up making a lot of mistakes, and he almost comes back. So I ended up telling him at one point, like, hey, I need to slow down. Like I'm making way too many mistakes, like trying to go fast. And I ended up closing it. I ended up getting the game. But I just have to make sure I'm just like, even when I'm in like an unwinnable position, I have to make sure I'm not playing too fast and just like making mistakes like that and potentially throwing away a win. But yeah, absolutely high rolled him. It was like just not even fair. I felt pretty bad, but it is what it is. That's Enigma. That's why she's LLing, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, and then that's my last game of the PT. I end up 10-5, which is really, really good for a pro tour.
Really good.
Very happy with that. And I ended 44th out of 523 players for making top 64 placement.
Yeah, congrats on that. Like I was trying to keep up with you here and there. I know there was one point at the end of day 2. I'm like, what's your record? How are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, it was like basically once it got to the point where like I was out of it, is like everyone at tournaments when asked me, I was like, I'm X4 now. I'm not top 8. You know, like hey, that's over. It's not over, but it's over for top 8.
Yeah.
Like, but no, I'm still very happy. I way better than I thought I was gonna do. I was expecting to like maybe make day 2 at best. That was my expectation. Oh, I forgot. I meant to put this in the notes, but I forgot to. At the end of day 1, I was talking to Chris Brummett and Tanner and
Oh yeah,
Tanner Lee, I believe. I mostly like I know Chris Brummett's last name because there's multiple Chris's in the area, so I like to say his name over and over. Anyway, I was talking with them after, and they were like, "Yeah, so we listened to your last podcast, and you just made this comment that we found really funny, where it was like you said, yeah, I could win it,' just like that." They just like said it back to me, like, yeah, I could win it. And then I don't remember saying that, but I guess I did. I was just like casually like, it could happen. Like, of course it could.
I remember I was like trying to hype you up before the tournament. I'm like, you got this, you're a good player, and like trying to get you hyped. Like, yeah, I could win it. Like that's
yeah, exactly. That's how I said it. But that was really funny because I was doing really well, and they're like, "Yeah, you're just really humble about like potentially just taking the whole thing down." But yeah, so it was a really cool experience. The best I've done, the best placement I've done in a tournament so far, because like I've played in other big tournaments and stuff, and I made I think it was like a top 128 of nationals one year. I think it's like my best placements before this. So like getting top 64 for the pro tour is like a big step up from my last placement, which is really cool. Like I feel myself getting better. I feel myself like being more disciplined in practicing the game and making the right moves. And obviously like being on a really good testing team has helped me a ton. It makes a world of a difference. Having people that are smarter than you and are helping you prep and like showing you different angles to look at the game and everything, and it's really shown. And huge shout out to the testing group. I don't think there's actually an official name for it, but they know who they are, and I really appreciate the opportunity to work with them to help me excel like this. And actually, one of the players, Jacob Tressing, made 10th. He was on I think he might have been on the same 80 as us, and he made 10th at the pro tour very close. He was X3, and we were all like uncertain if he was going to make it or not because of tiebreakers, and unfortunately, just barely didn't make it, even though he was X3. But yeah, that's about it. After the tournament, I did some touristy stuff. I went to the British Museum, which is really cool. Saw the Rosetta Stone, which I didn't even realize that they had it there. But that was like the first thing you see when you walk in is the Rosetta Stone, which was sick. Got to see the Egyptian exhibit, and then it was closing pretty soon after, so I had to leave. But got to see that, and then got to see Chinatown, which is really really cool to see in downtown London. I just wandered a lot, just kind of wasted time just wandering around just for fun. And yeah, and then left on Monday and got back the same day. But yeah, that's my PT recap. It was a lot of fun. Definitely recommend Pro Tours. Going to Pro Tours if they're feasible. And I'll talk about that when it comes to Pro Tours Singapore after we talk about some of the other events. But yeah, really really cool trip, really fun trip. Really happy with my performance. And I mean, I'm not 100% happy with my performance. I know I could have done way better, but I'm really happy with the result, I should say, and the good plays that I made.
I mean, you can still be happy with your performance and still just look for like improvement. Like, hey, like I know you have more room to grow, even though you still got 44th or something.
Oh, definitely. I will always have room to grow. I understand that I will never play perfectly, and that's kind of the cool part about the game too. Is that there's always ways to improve. There's always things to look out for.
Right, and you were talking about like, oh yeah, I'm on a team that's like smarter than me. It reminds me of last week when I was talking with Luke about like, oh yeah, it's nice being on a podcast with Cody because he's way smarter than me. So now it's like, oh no.
Oh yeah, that's what's
there's
so cool
so many
about the game,
levels.
Though, is the skill ceiling in this game is just it's through the roof. It's literally it's insanely high. Oh, actually, I'm just now remembering. I want to show off the shirt that I got. The head has the Big Ben
that's
on
cool.
it.
Oh, the X on the Big Ben for the marking.
Yeah. There was a joke in the group where like we would jump off of Big Ben if we did poorly. It was just like, yeah, we just walk over to Big Ben if we use X03 drop. Like it was just like the meme of the time. But yeah, so it's funny to get the Big Ben shirt.
Well, you made it back, so
yeah. Made it back, yeah. But yeah, did you want to talk about any of the other? I was there, but I wasn't like quite able to follow along the calling and the battle hardened all that well. We did have a local. I do know that Brian. Why am I blanking on his last name? He's on Team Ascent. His first name is Brian, but I'm blanking on the last name. He got, I think, 7th or 8th. So top 8 of the calling, which is really really cool.
Awesome.
Which is really great for him.
I'm sure.
I didn't see what gold foil he opened. I don't know if he opened it at all, but so he did really well in that tournament.
1 second, I can pull it up.
Yeah. Oh, Brian Lorenz.
Sorry, I don't know why I thought Thompson.
Yeah, I don't know if any of you have
tied for 5th.
Tied for 5th. Yeah. I guess that's all like the 5th through 8th is all like the same ranking.
Yeah.
That's right. I think he was like 7th going into top 8 is what I was thinking of. When he went into top 8, he was in 7th seed. Yeah. But yeah, I guess we should say for those who don't know, spoiler alert for top 8 results of the Pro Tour. Top 8 was Andrew. There were 3 Prisms, 3 Auroras, and 2 Enigmas. The players were Andrew Cook on Prism, Paul Van Gistel. I'm gonna butcher some names here. On Aurora, Pablo Pintor on Enigma, Leo Vezinet on Prism, Kevin Murphy on Prism, Sean Dollywall on Aurora, Max Dykman on Enigma, and Michael Cheskar on Aurora. And the winner was Pablo Pintor on Enigma in the Enigma Mirror. So basically, all 3 Prisms lost in top 8. Both Auroras lost in top 4, and then it was Enigma finals. Pretty crazy. I
did want to talk to you about that with Enigma. So a little spoiler too, but like Enigma won the Pro Tour, the Battle Harden, and the Commoner event. So it was her weekend.
She
But
speed ran LL this past weekend. She was like at what, like 600, 700 before this, and now she's at like 980. She's gonna LL the first weekend of ProQuests, which are
with
coming up
you
this weekend.
playing,
Was that?
yeah, with you playing Enigma,
Mm,
are you sad to see her go?
that's a good question. No.
Okay.
she's not. She's not like Dromai to me, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't main her at all. I did play. I've played her a bit. Like I didn't only play her for this tournament. I played her at previous ProQuests and RTNs.
Mhm.
I'm trying to remember if I brought her to anything bigger than that, like a calling or anything. But I don't think so. I've been so sporadic with my hero choices that I haven't stuck with a single hero. So like even though I normally probably would have just been on Enigma, like the moment that Drumai LL'd and like stuck with her, I was on
Mhm.
this like idea of like I should be playing other classes and like spreading my wings in the sense of like trying other classes and like not just sticking like to one single archetype. And so like I didn't really have a big connection to her, so I'm not upset to see her go. And kind of like we talked about 2 podcasts ago, Enigma was oppressive, right? Like
Oh
she's been
yeah.
holding back a lot of decks. So I think it's going to be really cool to see how the meta shapes after she's gone.
One of my 2 chains binding my guardian class down is leaving, and I couldn't be
Exactly.
happier.
Yeah, exactly.
I was hoping you would take it down with Enigma, but
I mean, me too. It would have been. I will say it would have been nice if she didn't win both of them, so that I could keep
yeah.
playing her throughout the PQ season. But now I only have her for this upcoming weekend to play at a PQ, and then I don't know what I'm gonna play after. Like, I was playing a bit of Zen, but Zen's also gonna LL first weekend of
Yeah.
PQ, so that's also not an option.
If
I
you
can play.
need to borrow a certain guardian,
Yeah,
I
Yarl.
might be able to step in and help out there.
I do. We can talk about meta predictions actually once we're done with like all the stuff because I think Jarl is going to be a pretty decent contender. Um, but yeah, I want to quickly talk because you did already mention that Enigma won the calling, but what we haven't done yet was we haven't gone over the meta breakdown for the Pro Tour and the calling. So that's not it. Whereas I'm not seeing immediately the Pro Tour breakdown, but basically Aurora was 31%. Oh wait, actually, did you talk about this last week? Did I miss that?
No, we
Okay,
didn't.
Aurora
Because
was.
we actually
I see.
recorded like a couple hours after the Thursday
Okay.
what was it
So
called?
right after the
Whatever it
keynote,
was, right
but
before the
before
event.
the Pro Tour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Aurora was
Keynote.
31% of the meta of Pro
So it's
Tour.
167 Auroras. 167.
That I think I might be looking at the calling because that was the calling numbers. Um, the
Oh, is
Pro
that the call?
Tour was different.
Oh,
I'm
you're right, you're right.
seeing here. But I remember a bit of it. So I know Aurora was 31%, which is the second most.
31 is
Yeah,
insane.
insane. The second most meta share since Starvo, and I think Starvo had like 33 or 34% at his height. So basically
That's
Starvo levels of
crazy.
meta dominance. Absolutely insane. And not closely followed. Enigma was like, I think it was like 180 Aurora or something like that, or 150 Aurora, and then it was like 80 something Enigma. And so she basically doubled the second place hero, right? So Enigma was like 10 to 15%, somewhere around there.
Mhm.
And then I think it was new, short right behind. And then it was like, I think it might have been Florian after that. Oh no, it
That
was
sounds
Zen.
right.
It was Zen. Zen was also pretty highly brought, and then it was like Florian and so on and so forth. So it was like pretty much the meta we expected. I think you might have had it more right. I think you predicted. Oh no, wait. I think maybe it was me. I think I predicted Zen and you predicted Florian, but and then
Yeah.
maybe we both had Prism in the top
I
five.
was gonna say, I can't remember. I feel like I said something about Prism, but definitely not this dominant.
I think neither of us had her in the top 5 brought. But
Yeah.
basically we were both right because we both had, or no, maybe we both had Prism in top 5. Either way, I think that's what it was. I think we both had Prism in top 5 brought, and I had Zen in top 5 and you had Florian top 5. But I think instead Prism wasn't in the top 5 brought, but both Zen and Florian were. I think. I could be
Oh
misremembering the
yeah.
breakdown.
I did not think Zen would be in the top 5 for sure. That was definitely where I was like, I remember talking about how I'm like, Prism's just a complex deck. I can't tell, but
On the note of Prism, though, I do remember there were 13 Prisms in the Pro Tour, and 3 of them made top 8, which is pretty crazy. But something else I noticed was that even though 3 of them made top 8, the 4th Prism was like finished 70th. So like all of the Prisms made top 8, and then all lost in top 8. So they basically made it to the top 8 and then lost the first round top 8 and were like out of contention already. So it was like kind of like a weird phenomenon of like, were they actually the best, like a good enough deck to be brought, or did they kind of just like skill diff and skill check people?
So I think personally, like again, I'm not as competitive as you, so like I can't tell you personally like too much.
Stop saying that. You're good. You're good.
In my opinion, I feel like she is just like a crazy skill like kind of hero where like you can pick her up and do well, but the jump up to from being like that 70th place to being top 8 is like just another level of playing the game, and that's when you get like the real value out of Prism.
I think I think it's not only on the Prism player to play correctly, but I think it's also very dependent on the opponent to play correctly. So I don't know how much of the top 8 you watched, but if you notice what the Auroras did into the Prisms to win their matchups, they blocked out way more than what even the casters were comfortable with. The casters were constantly like, why are they blocking so much? Why are they doing this, that, the other? And it was like very clear. It was just kind of correct to just like block the first Herald and then throw the other 2 cards or whatever. Maybe even block the second Herald too sometimes. Just like being overly defensive, utilizing their armor, and then like constantly chipping down the Prism who doesn't want to block at all so they can keep throwing big hands. And then eventually the Prism gets to a point where like they have to block and they don't want, and then that's just it. It's over. So I think the Prisms made a lot of headway into decks that didn't know, or players that didn't know how to play into them correctly. But then once they played these top 8 games with these players that have, connected teams, and they were able to scrim the matchups all night, they figured out like, hey, this is how we as Aurora beat Prism, and we're able to execute the game plan like perfectly, right? Like they both did the exact same game plan of like block out heavily, chip down, and then just kind of go for it at the end. And I thought that was really cool to see, and like really showed the Prism dynamic into other heroes. But anyway, that's my rant on Prism.
That's fair. Okay.
Yeah. Because I kind of like I accidentally employed a similar strategy. I basically, when I played against Kevin Murphy, I just drew out of my 12D reacts. I think I drew 10 of them in the first 3 hands or 4 hands, and so I was just like blocking out all of his heralds, and he would just like look at his hand and be like, "Yeah, you got it." Like he would wrath on a herald, and I would just have the extra D react. It was just like I just had it. Like I don't know. I wasn't trying to be that defensive. I just happened to be that defensive. Just because the way that my hands were being drawn, and it just ended up working out pretty well. But yeah, so that was interesting to see the meta breakdown. And then I do have the calling right here. The calling was 167 Aurora, followed by 88 Enigma. So again, she was double the second place share. And then third was 74 Florian. That is a lot of Florians in the calling.
Insane.
Yeah. Oh, also
fan favorite.
This was 898 players in the calling.
Which is a huge amount.
Massive calling. I don't know if it's the biggest, but it's definitely up there with the biggest. And then there was like a ton of like 50s and 30s and whatnot. And that one was won by, like you said, Emily Froze, something like that on Enigma. But the top 8 for the calling was 3 Aurora. Let me know if this sounds familiar. 3 Aurora, 4 Enigma, and a Slippy. So it's again like 3 heroes. 4 of them are illusionists. 3 of them are Aurora, and then we had a Slippy slip in there. And then top 8, 2 Enigmas, 2 Auroras, but then it wasn't a Enigma finals. It was Enigma versus Aurora in the finals.
It was another Spanish player that got the win there.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Because Spain was top 2 of the Pro Tour. They also won the calling. They didn't win the LL.
Nice. Yeah.
Trying to scroll all the way. That's crazy. They took this Pro Tour by storm.
Oh, something I forgot to mention from earlier. I thought it was really cool. I don't know if you saw, but from my feature match, I had a lot of clips in like the B-roll footage, like in between games and stuff, which is really cool to see. There's like a lot of like footage of like me fist bumping Majin and like playing cards and stuff. There's like every time like there was like a little like B-roll cut between things and like delays, like I was in there and it was really cool. I thought that was sick to like see my face constantly pop up on the screen. So my little like vain self enjoyed that. But yeah,
I enjoyed it too, being on the side of like, I know that guy, I know him, I talk to him weekly, like.
Yeah, it was really cool. It would have been even cooler if I was, top 8 stream, but it is what it is. It's fine. I got to explore London on my free Sunday instead of being stressed in the convention hall. I guess I'll count that as a win. But yeah, is there anything else? Oh, did you already mention that Enigma won Commoner?
One thing I do want to say about the calling classic construction. To the classic constructed, whoever brought that Bravo, you are my personal hero.
Was it calling or was it?
I don't know, but
there was one in the Pro Tour as well.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
They're my hero, but I'm sorry you had to play in this meta.
I think they brought. Oh, there was something about their list. They brought like I think it was like CYB, and they were just targeting everything except for Enigma. But like they still also had apparently had game into Enigma as well with their list. But yeah, it was pretty cool to see like some of these crazy decks come out. I don't know if you saw the Decimator Fang from the previous.
I heard about that.
Yeah, it was Gregor. I forget his last name. It's like Gregorich something. But he's the previous world champion, and he brought Decimator Fang. It was on stream, I think round 1 or round 2 of the Pro Tour. So
was it a switchboard? Do we know? Oh, I'm sure we can look it up, but
we can look it up.
We could look
all
it
the
up.
deck lists are available. Yeah. Which
might be
we can
hard
talk
to
about
find.
that. With maybe if we don't have anything else to say about the weekend, like the only events happening the weekend, we can talk about the effectively the semi. Oh, but calling it open deck list is not right. But like deck list sharing,
right?
I don't know the right way to phrase it, but basically, yeah. So any official event where you submit your deck list is on through the Gem Builder, through the deck list submission online, through Gem. Those deck lists will be made available to the public like the day after the tournament. That is now a new change that they're doing, but that's very clear after they did it for the Pro Tour, the Calling, and the Battle Hardened. And that's interesting, right? Because previously they only released deck lists for top 8 players, right? And that's probably partially because, and then a lot of these big top 8 tournaments, both players get their deck lists. That reminds me, I have something else to talk about for the day 2 pod drafting. But anyway, it is interesting that they, instead of releasing just top 8 deck lists, everyone's deck lists get released now, which is just infinite more information from all these teams that might have wanted some of their tech to stay a little bit more hidden if they weren't going to talk with it and like hold on to it for the next tournament, right? Like maybe they had like a spicy Arachne Huntsman list that they did really well with, but they didn't make top 8. And if they had kept it a little bit more under wraps, they could continue to play it with that competitive edge of a lack of information in the next tournament, right? But instead, now all these deck lists are immediately made public, no matter how you place. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that before I share some insight?
I'm not on like a competitive team, so I can't give like that insight on it. But it's something where it's like I know most people only look at top 8 anyways. Like they might pick out a few couple of like a hero they like oh, I really like Jarl, so I might go through, find a couple of Jarl players, see what kind of tech they're on. But outside of that, I don't know how much it changes. Like, I guess maybe in the Pro Tour it changes a lot, but I can't see from the level I'm currently sitting at how much it actually changes, other than it just being like a cool little feature to see more about like my personal favorite decks.
Yeah, I think that it's overall a positive thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it as a negative thing personally, but I do think that there might be some pushback on it because it is if it's effectively leaking everybody's tech, no matter whether or not
Yeah.
they did made top 8 or not. Because even though like Flesh and Blood is a very skill based game, right? There's luck involved. You could have the best deck and not win the tournament easily, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's still luck involved in making those top finishes, and so having some of these deck lists made available before they're widely known typically to be available is like a potential edge that you're losing as the deck creator. So I think that we might see some pushback on that. I thought it was surprising that they did it. I thought that it was just going to
I was
be
surprised too.
yeah. I did not. I don't think anybody expected them just to release everybody's deck lists all at once. But it makes sense, right? They have all the data. Why not give the data to us as well? But we'll see if that ends up staying the case because I think there might be some dissent on that opinion.
Have you heard
I think
dissent from like around?
no, I've heard some of like similar opinions to mine where it's like people might not be happy about this, more, but like no one I talked to was like completely upset about it. Yeah, I think it's good for the game ultimately, but
Yeah.
I could my opinion could change if I heard a compelling argument against it. Right? Like
Okay.
I'm close to the fence, or I'm on one side of the fence of like I think it's fine for the game. I think it's good for the game. But I could be like put on the fence or over the fence with a compelling argument from someone who is like against it, right? So anyway, I just thought that was really interesting. Something to share, something to note that there are now infinitely more deck lists to peruse and reference whenever you like are building a hero or wanting to look into playing a hero.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then what was I gonna say? I don't. We could talk about post Enigma and Zen meta, but we could also save that for next week whenever they do actually LL. But we could talk about the upcoming PQ season. And sorry, I remember again. I want to talk about the second draft pod I did. Just an extra detail that I forgot to mention.
Oh, yeah. Cut back.
Rolling back. So for the
rewind the tapes.
For the second pod, since it was a streamed pod, I don't know if you know this, but everyone in the pod got everyone's deck lists before they played the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So whenever I sat down before every game, I would hand my deck list to my opponent, and they would hand their deck list to me. We would look at it, and then we would sideboard and play the game.
I thought that they did the streams later on those kind of draft things.
So they did on day 1, I think they did a bit, but on day 2 it seemed like it wasn't quite as delayed. Number 1, and number 2, they still have like the games are still like up in the like booth, and they're more like watched, and so people could like write down stuff and then like let people know it's in the deck or not. So I think it's just like a precaution more than like a necessity.
Right.
But regardless, it made for the draft format to be very unique, where I knew exactly what attack reactions my opponent had and defense reactions they had, and what their deck composition was like, and they knew the same thing for me, right? So I know someone else brought up the point, like one of the other players in the pod was like, yeah, I knew they didn't have a D react, so I was able to just do this, right? Because they know exactly how many D reacts they have in the deck because they saw the list beforehand.
Right.
And I also took advantage of it. I was able to take advantage of it, rather. I played against a Syndra, and I knew they had one Art of Dragon Fire in the deck. And that I lost the die roll. Oh, I forgot to mention that too. I lost all 3 die rolls on the second draft bot too. I was 0 for 6 on winning die rolls in draft for the Pro Tour.
Oh, no.
So I lost the die roll against the Syndra. I go first, Arachne to Syndra. I know they have one Art of Dragon Fire in the deck, and I lose if they pull it off. Like my deck's just not good. So if they pull off the Art of Dragon Fire, it's over for me. And I attack them, and they basically end up holding a card. Oh, I have one card in my hand, and they take a little bit of damage, and then I move to end. They have 2 cards in hand. They discard Tip Off. Now they have 1 card in hand, and I'm like, maybe they have Art of Dragon Fire. So I throw my last card instead of Arsenal in it. Sure enough, they block with Art of Dragon Fire. So I was able to like get some advantage out of like throwing damage because I know they might have a card that I'll get value out of them blocking with. And so there's like some
That's
little
so interesting.
Yeah, there's like some little tiny edges to be had playing against someone when you know their list, but also obviously the same, it's reciprocated against you. Like they know how many D-reacts and whatnot you have as well. So it was, I can't tell if I liked it more or less than closed deck lists in draft, but I thought it was really a really cool added layer in the draft format to like know what their deck list was, know all these little intricacies, and be able to play around stuff in their deck even better, right? So I thought it was cool. I don't know if I like it more or less, but something I wanted to share about that stream.
I could see on a competitive level, like it being super cool and beneficial because you do get those advantages of being like, oh, I've marked these really good cards, da 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 da. But I could also see on like a casual level, like wanting to have some secret information because like being a player that's like maybe not as skilled in draft or as skilled as all these other players in these things, like okay, well, like I have the one of like Germinate in my deck, and if the opponent doesn't know that, I can play around it while they don't have the ability to play around this game plan or aren't thinking ahead about it. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I agree. That's why it's tough because the same advantage I have against my opponent, I have a disadvantage because they have that knowledge about my deck too, right? So that is like, that's why I'm on the fence, because obviously closed deck lists allow for a little bit more. You have to hedge into what they potentially have versus knowing what they have, and there's obviously some skill involved in doing that, and open deck lists cut out that skill based portion of it. You also have some like during the draft, you can also like try to take more note of like what's in the packs that you're passing, and know people like roughly what people have in their deck lists based off that too. So you're kind of cutting out that component of it as well. So that's why I'm not sure where I land on it. It's again like I'm like in this case I'm on the fence. I don't know if I like it better or not, but I just thought it was a cool different way to play draft that was worth noting.
That's cool.
But yeah, so that was really cool. And then yeah, I think that was it on Go Packs. But yeah, are you going to play any of the? Oh, sorry, I have one more thing because it's involving this new it's involving the upcoming PQs. So the upcoming PQ season, it's for Pro Tour Singapore, right? For the US, it's not very easy to get to Singapore. I don't know if you've personally looked up how much flights cost and how long they are, but
see, I know that's out of my budget. I don't have to look it up.
So it's for, I looked it up, I think yesterday I looked it up. Its prices are currently low for flights, and they're $1,400 for a round trip, and 21 hours of flight time.
I mean, if you're spending the money, I don't think the flight time's like that bad.
That's a long time to be on a flight.
That is a long time to be on a flight.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like
it's a pretty big deal.
I mean, it is. It is.
Like, because like, you also have to take off like an extra day of work both ways to accommodate for that, right?
That's true.
But sorry, what were you going to say?
I don't know. Like, I feel like when you're going to a place like Singapore, you're going to be making it like a vacation. It's not just I'm going to stay there for this event. It does kind of suck that you have to take out an extra day on both ends instead of like getting that little middleman day. But like, even when I normally travel, like the first day there is like already cut pretty short. So I don't know.
Right. So for reference, right, for this London trip, I flew out Tuesday evening, so I didn't need to take off Tuesday. I did anyway, just because I felt like spending like having the extra time to pack and like be relaxed and whatever. But
Right.
I could have worked all day Tuesday and then have flown out, got back Monday, and I could have even returned back to work on Tuesday if I wanted to, and I could have taken off less than a week of work for a London trip, and still get a little bit of tourist stuff in squeezed in there, right? But for Singapore, I'm gonna have to like leave on a Monday. If I leave on Monday night, I'm gonna land Tuesday night, and then either have to force myself to sleep anyway or something. I'm gonna figure out the jet lag on that is gonna be insane. And then
Yeah.
when I fly back, I'd fly back Monday and get back. I'm not accommodating for the time changes here actually, so it'd probably be different than what I'm describing. But basically, it's a whole day of flying back, and I have to
Right.
take another at least a day to get over the jet lag for coming back
And the
as
time
well.
change and
So it's like it's even without adding any tourism days, it's like adding 2 or 3 days off. That's 2 or 3 days of PTO you'd spend, which is a lot of money for a lot of people. Like to have to like take off work and not
Mhm.
either not make money or spend that PTO in that way. And if you're like you said, like if you're making it into like a vacation anyway, that's fine. And I agree. But like I didn't have to make London into a vacation to go. Like it wasn't a requirement because of it being not that difficult to travel to. But like you said, for Singapore, it it's almost like I just need to make it like an actual vacation and take off extra time and like just spend more time there, right? And just like happen to be
Right.
there for the pro tour, you know. So it is interesting. I don't think it's like necessarily LSS's fault or anything. I think it's good to have these pro tours in different regions of the country, but not the country, in just different regions of the world. But it is something to note that like I don't know many people going to. Actually, let me look. I'm curious. We have a lot of PQs in the Denver area. Let
We
me get a
do.
quick count. Let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If you include Wyoming, we have
That's
9
crazy.
pro quests, which is insane. That's so many pro quests
It's
for
insane.
for our area.
They're willing to like show that we have a lot of people in the Denver area, but not give us any events nearby.
Yeah. No, well, we're definitely getting a call in or something or battle hardened soon. Like it's gonna happen.
We
9 PQs? We have to. We have to. Like that's so many PQs to give out to us. But basically what I'm getting at
Mhm.
is there's no shot that anyone's gonna actually care to like not anyone. There's no shot that most people are gonna actually want the invite. And so
Yeah.
everyone's just playing for the gold foils when we go to these
Yeah.
PQs. And that's about it. So that is funny though. I didn't look at it until now. 9 pro quests, crazy.
That's insane.
Um, but yeah, just that was just something to know about this one. Is I know there's been a lot less excitement about this pro quest because of the travel requirements necessary, the involvement necessary to travel to that pro quest,
I
which will be a
kind of like
limiting
what
factor on the attendance for at least U.S. based players.
Yeah, I was gonna say like kind of what you're saying earlier. It's like cool that they do these locations. Like I still like I don't know. It's cool they do these locations. I think it is a good thing that they do this. It is just gonna be hard for a lot of U.S. people, and I know that the U.S. is like a big demographic, so it's gonna be interesting to see the size of this pro tour compared to others.
Yeah, I do like I wish that they maybe had some sort of contingency in place for something like this where maybe this is like unrealistic at all, but like for example, I think you used to get PTIs for ProQuest. I could be wrong, but I think like way back
Oh
when
yeah,
you might
like
have been able to get
way
PTIs.
back originally.
And now you get an invite to a specific pro tour, but it would be nice if they made it maybe not necessarily on the level of a PTI where you can sell it, but a pro tour invite just for your own account so that you could bank it until you get to go to a pro tour you can actually attend, right?
That's
Like
fair.
for example, if I won and got the invite and I could save it for I think do we know where the next pro tour after this is? I don't think we do.
No, we figured out where Worlds is, which is super
Which
cool.
we'll definitely talk about. But yeah, we don't know, but like maybe they always make the next pro tour in a different region, so it should be the US, right? Because we just had one in Europe, now we're getting one in Asia, so the next one should be the US. So like
We'll
if we were
see.
playing for
Right.
a an invite that could go work for one in the US, then we definitely like there'd be way more interest in that invite, right?
Right.
Um, so I don't know. Maybe I would be looking forward to them making a change that would allow something like that to be the case, where you can't sell it because obviously it's more fun. It's better for the game for you to be playing for an
Hmm.
actual invite for yourself and like to go to these pro tours. But it would be nice if there was a way to utilize it to make sure it gets used. Because as of
Maybe
right
like
now,
within a year, you could use it at a pro tour.
yeah, or
So
something
like
like
you have
that.
like 3 pro tours it covers.
That would be nice, yeah. But obviously, like logistical reasons, there's probably many reasons why they can't do that. But
Yeah.
as from a player perspective, as someone who is just not gonna be able to make it to Pro Tour Singapore, even if I get multiple invites, it would be kind of cool if I could make a use of those and not just let them go to waste. But yeah, that is true though. We got announced World Championship Philadelphia, uh, which is not too bad for us. Like we can travel there pretty easily compared to a lot of the previous World Championships. I don't know because you didn't go to the San Jose World Championship, right?
No, I haven't been to a world championship.
Yeah, it's
I
really
really want to
cool.
go to this.
It's really cool. You should definitely
Yeah.
try to go to Philly if you can make it. Even like I'm gonna be going whether or not I have a World's invite, right? Like it's just so fun to be there, attend the
Hmm.
calling, and like be amongst all the buzz um and everybody that's there for any event. Like it's the biggest event. Like you have all way more side events, you have way more artists, you have way more everything going on. Um, it's like a pro tour is almost at the same level in terms of like energy and atmosphere and everything. But it's
Yeah.
really cool to be at these
And I
world
really
championships.
enjoyed Los Angeles, which was super
Yeah,
cool.
and that was a pro tour, right? So like
That was a pro tour. That's
take
actually the
that,
last event I traveled to.
yeah, and like it's
Been a
really
minute.
cool, right? Like it's so fun to be at these
Yeah.
events, and yeah, like take that and like multiply it by like 1.5, and you get like the experience of a world championship. In my at least in my opinion,
Mhm.
it's just really cool. They're really cool to go to. So highly recommend it for anybody listening to go to the world championships. Even if you're not qualified, it's still a lot of fun to go. Um, and it being in Philadelphia for everyone in the U.S. should be pretty easy to travel to. So it's really cool. Um, but yeah, are we missing anything else on our docket?
I don't think so.
I think that's
We went through
mostly
because
it.
I know most of what it was like I was just excited to hear you talk about your like pro tour run.
Yeah, I was
And then like,
excited to to replay it, and then I know there's a lot of people at the Armory on Tuesday. We actually we didn't go through our what we did in Flesh and Blood, but
oh yeah,
but yeah,
I
we went
finally
to the
went to
Armory
an
on
armory.
Tuesday. I guess I went through what I did in Flesh and Blood anyway, in a sense.
True.
But there's so many people asking like, "Oh, hey, how was London?" This, that, and the other. And now if people ask me, I'm like, "Hey, I've got a video for you to watch." Now you can know how my pro tour London went in exquisite detail, more than I could say um, on the spot. So, um, but yeah, really fun time, really good experience. Really glad I did it. Looking forward to the next pro tour that I can attend. Um, and yeah. Oh, I was gonna ask actually, are you planning on doing any PQs, any pro quests?
I think there's one this weekend
Yeah, I
that I
Mythic.
can go
Yeah.
to, but like unfortunately my schedule's still
Mm-hmm.
all over the place. So far I can't even make it to the mythic one. It's
Oh, yeah, it's
the other one.
prestige. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Jarl,
like I'm hoping
Jarl gaming.
of course. Yeah, I'm in Jarl game. It's
Yeah,
unfortunate because Enigma's still around, so I'm probably gonna get
yeah,
smacked up real good. But I'm hoping to go to that one, and I'm hoping I get another like weekend off here when we have in like 2 3 weeks,
yeah.
and that would be
Yeah,
nice
'cause,
to go and participate in more.
I mean, we have them literally every weekend. We have one or two.
I know.
So as long as you get a couple weekends off during the next few weeks, you should be able to make at least a couple of them and play Jarl and an Enigma less meta.
Yeah, I know. I want to do it so bad, but we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm
we'll see. We'll
excited
see.
though because playing at the Armory, like just playing my, it's like I haven't played in 2 weeks. I actually played more Magic before last night. I played more Magic this month than I have
You've
Flesh and
done what
Blood, which
now?
is an
You
I know,
cheating on
which is
us?
an no, it's a super oddity for me because like that's also I've now played twice as much Magic in like 3 year period, which is like 6 games in 3 years. I played like 3 games, but anyways, outside that, I played with the Army, and I'm like, oh my god, I remember why I love this game. I know it's only been 2 weeks, but oh my god,
Yeah,
I'm so happy to be playing some more again.
the nice return.
It is nice.
Yeah.
Got a
Sometimes
little bit of a break.
you have to see the competition to realize what you're missing out on, right?
Exactly. I sit down, play some Magic. Oh, that was something cool. Yeah, yeah, that was a good game, guys. Like, let's go. And then I sit down for Flesh and Blood. I'm like, this is it. I feel it again. My blood's pumping. My heart's beating. This is the game.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, cool. Well, I'm glad I got to share my experience. It was really cool. Looking forward
Mm.
to the upcoming PQ season. Um, but yeah, with that, I'm Cody.
And I'm Jacob.
Thanks for watching.